Hey guys, and welcome back to another older movie review. This is a 1995 film that my mom made me watch with her, so this review is especially for you, Mom. This movie is a 1995 romantic comedy called While You Were Sleeping, starring Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman. Um, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was it was a fun movie. But before I get into detailed review, let's give you the synopsis. This movie is about a girl, played by Sandra Bullock, who she is a ticket taker at I think they're in New York, but possibly Boston. Um, Not the subway, but the rail cars that go above the city. Anyway, she is a ticket taker there, and she has no family in the city. Her family died a long time ago, and her life's just sort of passing by in a blur. She spends every day sitting here at this metro station, and the one little bit of hope, a bit of joy she gets, a little pathetic, but that's kind of the point, is this one guy with a pretty smile who comes by and takes the metro every day. And she gets to see him. And she keeps telling herself, oh, someday I'll talk to him, and someday we'll go on a romantic date and fall in love, and so on and so forth. Uh, but that's a little bit of the setup until one day, it's the end of the day, right before Christmas. She's gonna be working through Christmas because she's the only one with no family to go see. Again, like super depressing. But her love interest, her smiling man, is getting off the metro, and he's the only one on the platform. And some guys come up and mug him and toss him onto the tracks. She saves his life and calls 911 and gets him rushed to the hospital. She desperately wants to make sure he's okay, um, but they're only allowing family in. But as far as she knows, he doesn't have any family, and she desperately wants to be there for him. Just because. Um, well, she accidentally, sort of in exasperation, goes, "Oh, but I was gonna marry him," a girl might daydream. But one of the nurses hears her, mistakes her for this guy's fiance, and proceeds to let her in. She's like, "Okay, I'll get away with it. At least I'll know what happened to him." Turns out he has a gigantic family that comes to see him. And as soon as they ask who she is, the nurse says, "Oh, she's his fiance," and they lose their minds. So he is in a coma for a good portion of the movie, while she doesn't have a heart to tell. I think it's his poor little old grandma that she's not really his fiance for fear she'll have a heart attack or something. So she has to struggle with when is the right time to tell these people that I'm not actually engaged to their son, and keeping her secret from a couple of the nosier family members. So it's a nice back and forth, and there's a lot of comedy and a little bit of romance, maybe a little more than a little bit of romance thrown in, as she spends the holiday with this really charming and really fun family, but is guilt-ridden the whole time. Cons of this movie, I'm going to start with the bad stuff before I get to the good stuff. The lead, Sandra Bullock's character, is kind of weak. She's pretty bland. She's kind of boring. And I get it. That's supposed to be her character. She's supposed to be a person that nothing happens to, and then all of a sudden this big thing happens to. And that's fine. She's mainly there to see everything else. But even this couple times, she can be a little bit mean. Like she was mean to one of the characters, acting like she had some sort of right in the family or something like that. It was off-putting and uncomfortable, but only for a little while. And mostly she's just fine. She's somebody for the audience point of view a lot, mostly. She doesn't really even do much. Um, so But what does shine about this movie is the supporting cast. There are at least 3 or 4 really awesome side characters that that are the family members or people she knows, and they are the ones who are really colorful and really worth watching. They the ones who it's like a family you might hope you had had if you didn't grow up with a big family, or if you had a big family. Family members you can see like, oh yeah, that was like my uncle, or oh yeah, I had a cousin like that. Um, those characters are pretty colorful and pretty funny. And the guy in the who actually who the guy who falls into the coma, what bit of him you see in the movie is actually pretty entertaining, in a cheesy sort of way. So so those are my pros and cons about the movie. The main thing I come away from this movie is it's pleasant, and there's not a whole lot there. So it's just sort of a good, like something to put on with your family, or maybe for a date night. Um, if you can find it on Netflix or at a movie rental place. My final verdict, I'm giving this a 6.5 out of 10. Because there's not a whole lot there, but what is there is good, with a few exceptions. Um, and it's not bad, it's just not great. And if you're just good, 6.5 is just what I can give you. I still recommend it, especially if you have easy access to this movie. Um, well, I will. That's all for right now, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.